Hello everyone and welcome back to UZEX News on UzReport TV channel. Today in our edition you can get acquainted with the exchange news and quotations and also with the situation of the exchange markets of polyethylene. In the beginning of the program we traditionally offer your attention the results of auctions on all UZEX trading platforms and the price dynamics for top trading positions. These were the main indicators of UZEX exchange for the last week. Now we'll stop on the latest exchange news. As you know, in the month of March of the current year, UZEX exchange has fully modernized e-system exhibition fair trading, which represents B2B model of e-commerce exchange. We remind you that the main innovation of this trading system is to introduce a mechanism for ensuring guarantees for the execution of transactions through a single clearing system of the exchange. This mechanism guarantees timely payment and delivery of goods and services via internet. And in order to create additional conveniences for the participants of online trades, a mobile application Yarmarka UZEX, as we can see on the screen, of this trading system has been developed. In this application, all the basic functions of the website yarmarka.uzex.uz are available. So the new service allows the clients of the exchange to sell and buy the goods in online mode using electronic digital signature (EDS). Continuing the theme of e-commerce, we'll stop in details in a new trading system on government procurement etender.uzex.uz, as we can see on the screen. Currently, the customers began to enter their applications into this system. Touching upon the suppliers to participate in an electronic competition and tender, they have to register in a system in online mode, deposit security funds into the clearinghouse of the exchange, and apply your offer for the application through the personal account. The winners of the competition and tender are determined on the principles of transparency in several stages, which includes automatic and expert evaluation of the participants' offer. Further on, we move to analyze the polyethylene market from the months of January to the months of May of 2020. Now let's go for the price dynamics for polyethylene, and for the period from January to May 2020, over 40,000 tons of polyethylene were sold at the UZEX exchange trade platform, which is 14% higher than the same period of 2019. The sellers of polyethylene are mainly Shortan Gas and Chemical Complex and also joint venture UzCor Gas Chemical and joint stock company Uzbek Neftegas. A monthly average volume of implementation of the granules accounted 7,800 tons, as we can see on the screen. But the maximum sales volume comes to the months of May, as we can see on the diagram. Definitely it was 9,300 tons of polyethylene, as we can see on the diagram. In the month of January it was about 8,000 tons. In the month of February it was a bit lower regarding to the month of January, 6,900 tons at the UZEX platform. The month of March it was the minimum indicator on the performing level, 6,000 tons of polyethylene. In the month of April it was 8,000, and the maximum one, as it was mentioned before, 9,300 tons of polyethylene at the UZEX exchange trade platform. The leader's position in the market structure traditionally took pellicle and molding type of polyethylene. As we can see on the screen, their share accounted 36% and 25% respectively. But the best performer here definitely is pellicle type of polyethylene with 36% of the market share. The second position here is taken by molding type of polyethylene with 25%, as we can see on the diagram. The third top leadership position here is taken by pipe ones with 18% at the UZEX exchange trade platform, as we can see on the screen. It is worth to mention that blowing brands of polyethylene have not been implemented for the same period of the last year, and the current year their share accounts 14%, as we can see on the screen. The share of cable and rotation polyethylene is at level of 3% for both of the commodity assets in this segment of polyethylene. Let's go to the next diagram for today, and this is going to be the price dynamics for all types of polyethylene, and further we consider the price dynamics for all types of polyethylene starting from the months of January to the months of May 2020. Polyethylene price trend showed basically a downward tendency, as we can see on the screen, for the considering period. So if in the month of January the price accounted 11.2 million cents per ton, some kind of stability and normality we can observe in the months of March. It was 11 million cents per ton, as we can see on the diagram, but afterwards the price moved down to its minimum position, 9.8 million cents per ton, by losing almost 11% of the market. And definitely it's worth to mention that the decline is mainly comes to the months of March and April, when the performing volume and implementation of polyethylene has significantly grown. Definitely due to the active position of the factory producers and their systematical performing into the UZEX exchange trade platform, it positively influences to the price formation at the UZEX exchange trade platform. That's what we can see exactly. And in the months of May it is 9.9 million cents per ton. So now we move on, the polyethylene export market will be the next, and totally over 15,000 tons of polyethylene was implemented through the exchange trades, especially the export platform. Let us pay attention to the schedule of polyethylene implementation for the export by months, and in this case it can be noted that the maximum sales volume is observed definitely in the months of May. To be exact, it's 5.6 thousand tons of performing at the UZEX export platform. To be exact, in the months of January it was 2,500, in the months of February it was a little bit lower, 2,200, and definitely in the months of March it was the minimum performing and implementation volume, 1,400. In the months of April it went up to the level of 3,150, and the maximum one, as it was mentioned before, is 5,600 tons of sales volume, as we can see on the diagram. So let's go to the export prices, and a downward tendency has also been traced here. If in the months of January the average price for all types of polyethylene accounted $937.5 a ton, as we can see on the diagram, in the months of May this indicator reduced to its minimum price position. It was $706.2, or the market lost about 25%, as we can see on the diagram. Price decrease has been mainly observed on the background of the low demand in foreign markets. In the world markets, low demand is mainly from January to March. Generally, future quotations for polyethylene of low pressure for Dalian commodity exchange shows fall from January to March. If in the months of January 1 ton of polyethylene accounted $1,000 a ton, in the months of March it dropped to its minimum position, $807 a ton, as we can see on the diagram. This decrease is firstly associated with a global trend of prices reduced for commodity resources, primarily for oil. However, since the month of April, a demand recovery for polymers has been observed in China. As a result, in the month of May, the prices rose to $980 a ton, as we can see on the screen. And at the end of our program, let's consider the positions of the regional structure on consumption of polyethylene, and definitely not significant changes has been observed in this segment as well. To be exact, Tashkent and Tashkent region metropolitan area is the best performer on consuming polyethylene with 49%, as we can see on the diagram. A specific weight of Fergana region increased from 16 to 19.4% on consuming polyethylene, as we can see on the diagram. And definitely it's worth to mention that the share of Andijan region, on the contrary, has been decreased from 10 to 6%, and 8% of sales comes to the buyers of Namangan region, as we can see on the screen. The share of other regions is relatively lower. So these were all comments for today. Thank you for watching us and being with us. Do join us next week on UzReport TV channel, and surely visit our website at www.uzex.uz. See you next week. Bye.